It is once again that time of the year when families and businesses have started packing up for the holidays or closing for the festive season. In fact, I think most big businesses have closed by now. As families and businesses start to vacate their homes and premises over the festive season, there's often a spike in criminal activities, particularly burglaries, as criminals capitalise on the many vacant buildings and houses. In fact, we heard a statistic a bit earlier from one of our guests talking about the fact that there are about 417 break-ins a day at this time of the year in South Africa. Well, Colin van Zyl from Risk Benefit Solutions joins us from our Cape Town studios now to share some tips on how to protect your possessions this festive season. Good to have you, Colin. Thanks very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, that statistic that we were given, approximately 417 break-ins now at this time of the year. I mean, is that a realistic a projection of what happens right now?
Yeah, it's shocking, but it's reality. You've got unemployment and people have got to find other ways to survive. So they prey on our weak times when we tend to relax and start thinking about our holidays.
Yeah, it's a scary one when you are trying to go away and relax on holiday, but you keep thinking about your possessions. So let's talk about that now. Perhaps give some of our viewers some tips. Protection against theft. How does one be more vigilant during the holiday season?
Well, insurance is the grudge purchase, but one's got to pay attention to a couple of key things. You've got your vehicle, which is one of your biggest assets other than your house, making sure when you park it in a public parking place or in a shopping mall that when you close it with the remote, check the door once or twice, make sure it's locked. Don't just be lazy, walk away, push the button and think it's locked. Remote jamming is a very easy way to lose your stuff, and because there's no forced entry, insurers then won't entertain it. There's a great campaign going on at the moment, don't flash it, stash it. So don't leave laptops in the car or handbags or anything that a passerby can see and want to remove from you. That just kind of helps you losing stuff on holiday. Then when it comes to your offices and houses, if you go out, people say, well, I'm quickly going to pop down to the shop, so they don't really lock up properly. And you don't lock up properly means your insurance again won't pick up and cover your loss. There has to be forcible violent entry. So it is important to lock properly, make sure that doors are locked, windows are locked, alarms set. And if you're going away, the alarm tested beforehand, phone the alarm company, make sure that the alarm response is working, your panic button's working, make sure you leave a set of keys with a friend or a neighbor that's going to be around, that if there are any emergencies, they are able to get into the house. When you lock your house up, don't leave the key on the door on the inside, put it away, think about it, act responsibly, kind of remember the thing of saying, act as if you're not insured. What would you do if you weren't insured? Would you leave your door open? Would you leave the window open? Make sure that things like remote garages, if they can be locked from the inside while you're away, that you lock that kind of stuff. Laptops, any valuables, make sure valuables are locked away in a safe. Laptop, lock it away carefully in a drawer. Anything that's of value to prying eyes, and that they want it, that's their job. They're good at it, and they will take it away from you while you're enjoying your holiday, lying on the beach or visiting friends and family.
I mean, we talk about leaving for the holiday season and leaving your possessions and your home and all of those things, but you do find that criminals are also brazen. Not that they are not brazen throughout the year, but I can imagine during this holiday time we do let our guard down and we are a lot more relaxed. And but criminals are not. They're as on the lookout and as vigilant as they usually are, perhaps even a little bit more, because they can take advantage at this time. So what about in terms of that's break-ins, but what about hijackings at this time of the year, and also just stealing, especially when Christmas bonuses are? Be careful at ATMs, going into shopping centres, but those warnings as well. I can imagine that's something we need to look at.
Well, don't make yourself a victim. Don't carry more cash than you need to. These days with credit cards and debit cards, make use of those things. Ladies with their handbags, you hang it on the back of a chair, you go into a restaurant or go grab a quick cup of coffee, make sure your bag's zip closed so that there's not a little hand that can slip in. You go to the beach, you leave your sunglasses and your cell phone and your towel while you go and jump in the water. Those kind of things. Just don't put the temptation out there. Think about it. Leaving your cell phone on a restaurant table, the little hands can grab that very, very quickly. Just you've got to kind of think twice about it. And it is the time where you're more relaxed, you're a lot more distracted. Your kids are around you, you're saying hi to friends in the car, and that when you're driving around. Yes, your mind isn't on work and your next presentation, but you are more relaxed. People are doing funny things. They're looking at the view. They're looking at holiday makers. So they're not fully focused on the road. They're kind of swerving around. So even if you have the right of way, anticipate, look, predict what's going to happen, and be safe out there when you're driving.
We also have another threat, and the one thing that we do worry about, even though I did read in the paper this morning that Eskom has announced that they don't expect any load shedding at this time of the year. Having said that, the reality is that we do put our alarms on and we do try and make provisions for that. But if there is load shedding and everything is reset, and we sort of don't have those alarms at that time when you need them most, I mean, what should you do? Is it just a matter of hoping that you've got somebody that can go into the house and reset it when the electricity comes off? Or are there other things that you can actually do to make provisions for those eventualities?
Well, yes, obviously, like you service your car, it's important to check your alarm. And at this stage in the game, it might be a little late to say to everybody, contact your alarm company and get them to come and check your alarm. The week before Christmas, they might be a little inundated and want to cut my throat for saying that. But yes, check your alarm, set it, trip the panic button, see how long it takes them to respond, and that. And then also, as we spoke about a little earlier on, is making sure that you've got a friend or family or a neighbor that's got keys to your place, that should there be power that goes off in your area for longer than 12 hours, that they can go and double check. But your alarm is set, it has got a battery backup, and that battery should last 6 to 12 hours. Hopefully by then Eskom would have sorted it out and the power's back on and it's fine. But it is good to, if you have got a friend or a neighbor that can pop round to your house once a day, kind of thing, that does help. It does look like there's activity around the house. Timers on light switches and that kind of stuff also makes people think that someone's home. And the post box, just try and get someone to clear out the post box. That's the number one giveaway, when your post box is jammed full of all these Christmas flyers about specials and that kind of stuff. An overflowing post box clearly shows thieves that there's nobody home.
Yeah, that's a very big thing. I must say, one of the biggest things happened in the area that I live in, here in Johannesburg. There was a water pipe that burst, but it was in 3 different areas, and it caused some of the biggest flooding that we've ever seen. In fact, areas around us have been cut off from water supply for about 3 days. But where I'm coming to is that the actual base of one of the pipes, I mean, this is, it was one of those events that you don't expect, but one of them was actually under somebody's house who was on holiday, and their house was flooding and nobody could get into it. I mean, that could be one of the reasons why you should ensure that somebody has a key to your house. That's locally.
That geyser, the geyser claim kind of comes into mind a lot, and Murphy's Law, they never burst when you're at home.
Never.
They burst when you're not there. And if you think a lot of water comes from a dropped glass, when you release 250 litres of water out of a geyser into your bedroom or into a lounge, it can cause substantial damage. So switching off geysers and maybe even the extreme of switching off the water supply to the house, especially if you're going away for a while overseas or something like that, or up country. It is very important to have someone who has got a set of keys to your house that can go in and double check things like that.
Indeed. Just finally, before I let you go, there's also the reality that a lot of people do travel overseas at this time. I feel sorry for them with the currency at the level that it is, but tickets are booked and people are going. Some people forget to take out travel insurance and adequate travel insurance cover. What should one look at when you're traveling outside of the country?
Well, the insurance is the grudge purchase, but there are so many products out there these days that are really, really helpful, and one does need to investigate. Talk to your financial advisor, your insurance broker, ask questions, ask friends. But there are the important things of travel insurance that not only covers medical and flights and that kind of stuff, but it's your personal belongings. You're going overseas with a camera, your wife's got some jewelry, you've got your iPad with you, those kind of things. You know, you're in a different environment. Those guys overseas are even sharper than our guys in South Africa. Yeah. So it's important to make sure that high value items are insured correctly, whether it be an assets out policy or a all risk type policy. Make sure your high valued things are covered. If you're not sure, ask your insurer. Rather give them more information than less. That way you will always be covered.
Indeed. Let's leave it there for this morning. Thanks so much for talking to us here on the programme. Some vital information during this holiday season. Colin van Zyl, Account Executive of Risk Benefit Solutions in our Sea Point studio. Thank you very, very much. Let's take a